What's up everybody, it's RobinGaming here. So the Order 1886 is coming out officially tomorrow, and what that means is that at midnight my digital pre-order copy will officially unlock. I'll be able to play the game on my PS4, and I quickly want to start off this video with an announcement because I am planning to live stream the full game from start to finish, if that's possible, on Twitch tonight. So that's going to be like midnight local time, and that means 11 PM in the UK, and if you live in America or something, it's probably going to be somewhere early evening to late afternoon that it starts. If you live in a different time zone, of course, you're gonna have to find it out for yourself. I'll make sure to post when I'm going live, you know, on YouTube and on all the social media and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty much gonna try and see if I can live stream myself playing the full game. Gonna be a little bit of an experiment. I normally don't really live stream that often, but I hope that a lot of you will be checking it out because, you know, even if you're not maybe interested in watching me play the full game, which I hope some of you will be, then you can still, you know, come and check it out for a short while. I'll make sure to answer all of your questions and stuff if you have those, and pretty much do a live review with you together while I'm playing the game. I think that's a pretty exciting thing, and I can't wait to do so. So yeah, once again, 11 PM UK time. Find out for yourself what time that is in your zone. But I think now it's just time to talk about the game itself, because all the discussion around it has been quite controversial. Not just in the past, you know, couple of days where people are talking about its length. Supposedly it was only 5 hours. Now I think it's pretty much been debunked right now that it takes about 7 to 8 hours actually to complete it. And at the same time, now that the reviews have started coming out, I think that was today actually, yeah, pretty much all the big gaming outlets are not really giving it that, you know, great scores, I would guess. Right now on Metacritic, I think the game has about a 65, which isn't necessarily considered a very, very good score. So I just wanted to talk about those two things, you know, the quality in itself and also the length of the game. So I first wanted to start off by talking about the length of the game. People have asked me, Robin, do you think it's a bad thing that the game is very short? Is that something that bothers you? And I first of all want to say that I completely understand that some people think this is a very negative thing, and it probably is actually. I mean, look, if you are someone who can only buy 2 or 3 or 5 games a year, you have a limited amount of money to buy all these games, then you will look for games that can offer you a lot of value, you know, a lot of gameplay time, so you can be busy with these limited amount of games for a very, very long time. The Order 1886 is a 5 to 10 hour experience. That means that you buy this game, play it once probably, maybe twice, and then that's it. You never touch it again. That is, however, not necessarily something that bothers me that much, and the reason for that is that I very much knew what I was going into when I was, you know, really looking forward to this game. I knew it was going to be one of those cinematic experiences that doesn't necessarily last that long. And look, you can complain about this not being a 20 to 30 or 50 or 100 hour game, but the thing is, you shouldn't have had those expectations in the first place. This is not an open world game in any way. This is a linear third person experience that you play once or twice, like I said, and then you throw it away. The reason why it doesn't necessarily bother me is because I still really, really enjoy these kinds of specific games. There have been so many open world games, and I really like those, you know. I totally understand that some of you will want to look for that value and will want these games that can actually offer you this gameplay time. But at the same time, I think The Order and games like Uncharted, Heavy Rain, these kinds of linear games, they are very polished in what they do, you know. They try to give you a very good story. They try to give you, you know, include that with a nice soundtrack and very big set pieces, those kinds of things. The developer is able to actually kind of like completely decide what you are going to experience. And I will always kind of like, you know, just compare this to, for example, in Uncharted 3, where you have the plane scene. You'll never see a big set piece like that in an actual open world game. It is not possible because the developers cannot predict what exactly you're going to do in that world. And so to just quickly, you know, round off the whole length thing, I think that in itself this is not necessarily a bad thing if you know what you're going into. That being said, if you are someone who has that limited amount of money, simply don't buy the game, don't look forward to it, because if you want more value out of your games, you shouldn't have even been looking forward to the Order in the first place, because it was already pretty much clear from the get-go this is going to be a game that you play just once and beat in about 10 hours. And whether it was 5 5 or 10, I think it pretty much just attracts the same kind of audience. And so if you complain about this game being just 5 hours, I don't think you would have bought it anyway, even if it was 10 or 15 hours. So with that being said, let's just now talk about the quality of the game itself, because like I said, the game hasn't really been getting that many great scores. Now, I want to make it very clear that I'm not trying to defend the game here. If it has a 65 on Metacritic, and if the general consensus from all these media outlets, 50 to 100 of them, and they all say that the game has pacing problems, that it has a very short length, then I think it can pretty much be taken for a fact that that is the case. And so right now I already have a pretty clear idea of what this game is going to be like. The thing is just that I think people make such a big deal out of this score that they don't even let it influence, or they don't even think about the fact that they themselves might actually end up enjoying the game more than just for what score it is getting, of course. I mean, if a game is a 6, that does not mean that you can still end up enjoying the game, or if a game has a very good, good score in the end, like a 9 or a 10, it sometimes can be very disappointing to you as well. Look at a game like World of Warcraft. That is a game that is considered one of the best of all time. However, when I play it, I get totally bored, and it's just not something for me. I don't play MMOs. It is not my type of genre. And so what I want to talk about in terms of the quality of this game is that once again, if all these people say that the game has pacing problems, if there's several things wrong with the game, then I'm sure those things are actually true. That, however, does not mean that I in the end might actually enjoy the game more than that, and it is because it is that cinematic experience. Once again, you look at a game like Heavy Rain, that didn't get exactly outstanding review scores or anything either, but I beat the game in one sitting. I think that was probably the very first game I beat just in one sitting, and I beat it probably like 3 or 4 times after that, where a lot of the big criticism was that you would not play this game more than once, and so that totally did not count for me. I still really enjoyed that game. And you look at Uncharted, I consider Uncharted to be my favorite game series of all time. I really enjoy those games, but at the same time, a lot of people tell me, Robin, I enjoy a game like Call of Duty with its multiplayer way more. That's just a lot more fun to me. Or this big, giant open world RPG like Dragon Age, I totally think that's better than Uncharted, and that is just fine. That is your opinion, of course, but at the same time, it does not mean that I share the same opinion and that I actually enjoy those genres just as much as the genre that is The Order 1886, which is a linear cinematic experience. And so, if the game is bad, then it's bad. That's just a fact, but it simply doesn't impact your own enjoyment of the game. And so we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm first gonna play the game myself. I'm not really gonna judge it already, even when there are so many reviews out there. I want to play it myself and see if I really like the game, if I enjoy playing it. But I'm sure that the general consensus, the negatives about the game, I will probably share in those things. But at the same time, yeah, I'm just gonna play the game live tonight. Hopefully you'll join me there, and I hope you enjoyed my commentary here on what I think about the Order and all the controversy around it so far. So let me know if you agree in the comments. And then for now, once again, hope to see you tonight, and I'd like to thank you a lot for watching, and hope to see you again next time.